Looking at the ink on this historic proclamation, we see a written law declaring freedom. We tend to think that when a law is signed, chains fall away, but history tells a different story. Freedom exists on paper long before it becomes a lived reality. Even after the formal abolition of slavery, it took more than 2 years for that news to reach enslaved people in Texas. The legal framework had changed. Daily reality for these families had not. That gap between the written law and the human experience leaves us with a difficult question. What exactly happens when a person is technically, legally free, but functionally trapped? Granting a right or passing a law doesn't automatically dismantle the systems of control that keep someone confined. The deepest prisons don't always have physical walls. Today, that exact gap between paper and practice thrives in the family court system. We see it constantly in prolonged custody disputes and high-conflict divorces. A parent might walk out of a courtroom with a signed order granting them legal rights. They can go home, drive to work, and walk freely through their neighborhood. Yet, emotionally and psychologically, they feel completely powerless to exercise those rights. They are caught in coercive control dynamics. Every text message is scrutinized. Every minor mistake is documented. The rules change constantly. They are living in an emotional jail that follows them home, into their dreams, and through every holiday. Our legal institutions are built almost entirely to process physical movements and written rights. This makes them alarmingly blind to the absence of emotional freedom, leaving families legally processed, but practically paralyzed. When a parent enters prolonged legal conflict, their human identity shrinks. They stop being a mother or father, and the system relabels them petitioner, respondent, movant. Humanity is erased, the relationship flattened. A lifelong bond is reduced entirely to case files and paperwork. Families experience this process like boarding a plane that never leaves the tarmac. You clear security, you buckle your seatbelt, you follow every instruction the flight attendants give you. Hours turn into years. You are technically traveling, but you aren't actually going anywhere. The way these families measure time distorts completely. They stop counting months or looking forward to normal life milestones. Instead, life becomes a permanent countdown clock of court dates, missed parenting exchanges, and temporary orders. They submit the forms and attend the hearings, but strict systemic compliance creates an illusion of forward momentum. They are moving, but they are not progressing, cemented into a permanent, invisible confinement. While adults navigate this bureaucratic maze, we rarely look at the internal psychological toll this takes on the children caught in the middle. Competing adults often become obsessed with who filed first or who won the latest motion. A child doesn't care about any of that. A child is asking much simpler questions. Do both of my parents love me? Am I safe? Is this fight my fault? Because the conflict is chronic, the child's normal emotional development is interrupted. Instead of learning to navigate childhood, they adopt severe emotional survival strategies. They develop intense hypervigilance, suppress their own feelings, and live in constant fear of disappointing either parent. Before they are old enough to understand basic math, they are forced to become emotional diplomats. They spend their energy decoding adult anxiety and managing a divided loyalty. When adults wage endless legal and systemic wars, children become the unacknowledged hostages. They are forced to sacrifice their own childhood simply to survive the daily emotional crossfire. If we look back at the historical aftermath of emancipation, we see what humans naturally do the moment they are actually free. Newly freed people didn't immediately pursue status, power, or wealth. The very first thing many of them did was begin searching for the family members who had been taken from them. As we see in this model, true liberty manifests as this complex, connected network of relationships. In this framework, human connection forms the fundamental baseline of actual liberty. Family institutions need to completely change how they operate. We must stop measuring success by how efficiently a court closes a case file and start asking child-centered questions. Every decision should be evaluated against new metrics. Does this reduce a child's fear? Does it increase trust? Does it help this family thrive? A justice system succeeds when it leaves families free enough to love, belong, and remain connected to the people who matter most.